Trojan Sports Now.
Welcome to Trojan Sports Now. I'm Danielle Percival.
And I'm Jonathan Sellers. Stick around as we bring you the latest news and scores from Troy Sports. Well, there was just one home game for Troy Athletics over the weekend, and it was a big one. The soccer team played host to South Alabama on Sunday for Senior Day. Better seeding in the Sun Belt tournament was on the line, as well as a chance to beat your in-state rival. Mitchell Spoon has the details.
On Sunday, the Troy soccer team held a Senior Day ceremony for its 5 seniors moments before kickoff against the South Alabama Jaguars. The seniors honored were Samantha Morgan, Maddie Teakin, Cecilia Thorngren, Caitlin Buono, and Madison Winter.
Well, I think they've all developed in their own unique way. They're not, just a kind of a clone of what should be. I think it's neat. You've got such a neat collective group of individuals that come together as a team and all bring a different dynamic, whether it's being goofy, whether it's working hard, whether it's quietly doing their job, whether it's sitting in the goal and taking a beating like she did today. There's all kinds of different things that you've seen from the different seniors, and that's something great to learn from. You can't have all the same player. You got to have a variety, and that showed today.
In the match itself, the Trojans and Jaguars played a very physical game, with the Trojans wanting to rebound from its loss to Georgia State, and the Jaguars looking to get things rolling again after suffering a defeat from Western Kentucky. The Trojans played what head coach Chris Bentley called a championship-type match.
You saw a team that battled today. It was a championship-type game. There was fouls. There were, you name it. You've got people went to war. There were great soccer that was played. There was, everything that you could possibly see within there. It's just a lot of good competition. I think it was a good game to watch. So, I think that's the kind of thing that our girls need to do, continue to move forward. But for our seniors in particular, I think they led in a good way, competed, and the girls followed suit. It was great.
In the 66th minute, freshman Niecy Jennings scored the lone goal for the Trojans, and a late defensive stand held the Jaguars scoreless, giving the Trojans the victory. With the win, the Trojans secured a winning season at home with their record currently at 5-2. Coach Bentley hopes that this home victory can carry on to improve the away record both with their last game and in the postseason.
I think it's great. We have a great fan base. I think that we have a lot of fun playing at home. It's comfortable here. I think that's great. But we've got to improve our away record too, and ultimately the postseason is away. So if it was here, it'd be great. But we got to get on the road and do some things as well. So hopefully we can take this into our next few games.
Mitchell Spoon, Trojan Sports Now.
And after the game, goalie Madison Winter was recognized by the Sun Belt as the Defensive Player of the Week. It was Winter's 4th win in goal on the season as she shut out the Jags. Winter made 7 saves for her 4th shutout. It was the 2nd time this season she won this honor, and Bentley says it was well-deserved.
This game in particular, she came up with 3 big saves, and in that game, we ask any goalkeeper, if you're in a championship-type game, you're going to have to make maybe 1, 2, or 3 saves. She did it, and that was, to me, an all-conference performance from a goalkeeper when you have to make big saves in big games, and she did that. And for her to get that award, I think it's a sign of what the team's doing, but I also think specifically for her as an individual, making some really big saves at key moments in the game helped us win the game.
And while the soccer team has almost completed the season, the Trojan cross-country team did run their final meet of the regular season on Friday at the Crimson Classic. All 8 athletes on the women's team ran a season-best 5K time, with Julia Ostendorf leading the charge. For the men's team, there were several season bests as well, with Enoch Karui finishing first among the men. Travis Lucas completed his first 8K of the season, while Madison Estes and Shaquille Parker both posted their fastest times of the year. Head coach Jeff Jenkins said it was a good opportunity to see more of the conference schools they will face for the title.
We mixed it up well with some of those Sun Belt schools that were there. We had a few wins on some of those schools. ULM was there, Georgia State, South Alabama, and Texas Arlington was there. And so it was good to see those schools and compare ourselves with them to see where we need to be in 2 weeks for the Sun Belt. And some people's eyes were really opened, and some people realized that it may not be as difficult as they thought it was going to be. They ran closer to some of the guys who had been running faster times than them.
The volleyball team made one of its longest trips of the season over the weekend and also faced off against 2 of the new teams to the Sun Belt. Friday night, Troy faced Texas State for the first time, falling 4 sets to the Bobcats. Troy struggled offensively with an attack percentage of just .045 with 40 kills and 32 attack errors. Alexander had her string of double-doubles with 16 digs and 32 assists, while Maria Zelenovic had 12 kills. Sunday, Troy faced UT Arlington for the first time and fell in a marathon 5-set match. Troy dropped the first 2 sets, battled back to win the next 2, and then fell in the final set 19-17. Despite the loss, Blair Winston had 28 kills, the most since Troy moved to the Sun Belt in 2005. Overall, it was 2 tough games for Troy, and head coach Sonny Kirkpatrick summed it up in one word.
Unsuccessful. I thought at points we played pretty well. We had 2 opportunities out there to get wins, and unfortunately they both slipped through our fingers. So we need to do a better job on our side of making sure that we're confident in going into the game plan and into our play. And when we did that, we were pretty good.
Troy is now 9-14 overall and 4-5 in the Sun Belt, with a month left to go before the Sun Belt tournament.
The rodeo teams were in action this past weekend at the West Alabama Rodeo Showdown in Livingston, Alabama. The women finished in 8th place while the men took home 9th. Nelson Wyatt finished in 5th place in the calf roping competition, turning in the best time in the first round, and Keistia Smith was in 6th on the women's side in the goat time.
The men's golf team finished in 6th place earlier this week at the Pine Tree Intercollegiate in Kennesaw, Georgia. Tolver Dozier finished tied for 6th place with a 1 over par 217. That round tied for the best so far this year for Troy, while the 6th place finish was the Trojans' best this year. Philip Brennan was the only other in the top 20 who finished 20th overall.
And for the women's golf team, they wrapped up play at the Blue Raider Invitational, placing in 7th with a total score of 911. Freshman Fatima Fernandez-Cano led the Trojans, coming in 4th place individually with a score of 218. Behind her, juniors Langley Vanoy and Taylor McGraw placed tied for 14th and 36th, respectively.
In what has become an annual event for the baseball team, the Trojans took to the field Sunday for a fall exhibition game against the Ontario Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are a high-level summer league team, and Troy's David Hall had 3 home runs Sunday, while Trevin Hall added 4 hits. Last year's Sun Belt Pitcher of the Year, Shane McCain, threw 3 scoreless innings with 5 strikeouts. Troy begins its 2014 season in February.
Well, Jonathan, no Trojan football this past weekend, but just because it's a bye week doesn't mean that it's an off week.
You're exactly right. And while fans might have been disappointed that there wasn't any Trojan football this week, the team seemed to think that this bye week came at just the right time.
It actually couldn't have came better. I feel like we had a lot of people banged up. Gave us a good amount of rest so we can get ready for a big game.
Had a good practice last night. A lot of energy, which I was hoping would be the fact because they have had some time off and time away from us, and I think it was productive.
Well, still to come on Trojan Sports Now. After a weekend off, the football team will be back on the gridiron facing another tough conference test.
But first, we heard from Coach Phil Cunningham, the head men's basketball coach last week, and this week we're joined by women's basketball coach Shanda Rigby to discuss the upcoming season. Stick around for more Trojan Sports Now.